When I question a doctor in a pretrial question and answer session known as a deposition in a medical malpractice matter, is it ever appropriate for me to ask the doctor, why? Why did you do this? Why did you treat my client this way? Is that appropriate? You want to know the answer? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some terrific information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney, and the answer is yes, it is appropriate. I am permitted to ask the doctor questions about what he did and why. This is known as discovery. I will have a certain agenda when I go ahead and question the doctor whom you have sued. This takes place in the doctor's attorney's office, in his conference room, and there's a court reporter present to record all of my questions and all of the doctor's answers. This question and answer session carries the same exact weight as if the doctor were testifying at trial. So now, during my questioning, I want to know certain things. Not only do I want to know what the standard of care was for treating a patient with this particular problem, but I also want to know what the doctor did, what his rationale was for doing those things, what he was thinking, what he did to rule out other problems that the patient might have, and now to evaluate whether or not the doctor actually violated the basic standards of medical care. Because at the very end, or toward the end, I will be asking the doctor a series of hypothetical questions, and I'm permitted by law to do that. Doctor, I want you to assume that Mrs. Jones came in presenting with A, B, and C. Would you agree that in that instance, it's appropriate, in fact, it's the standard of care for a doctor in your specialty to do X, Y, and Z? Yes or no? And now I'll take him down a series of fact patterns that we believe to be more likely true than not. And now the doctor has to answer, he's required to answer those questions. So I always want to know from the doctor why he did what he did, what was his rationale, what was his thinking. Doctor, in this instance, you agree that there are a number of different possibilities the patient could have when she presented with this problem. True? Yes. And now, what was the most likely possibility? And now, what was the next most likely? And now I'll take him down a list that he's thinking in his own mind this problem could be. Doctor, would you agree that's something known as a differential diagnosis? True? Yes. And in order to determine which one of these possibilities it is, would you agree you have to do certain tests, clinical tests, and diagnostic tests to rule in or rule out every one of those possibilities? True? Yes or no? So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding into what goes on in these medical malpractice cases here in New York. You know, I understand and I recognize you're watching this video because you want more information. And in all likelihood, you have not yet started a lawsuit because you still have questions that need to be answered. Well, if you do have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, this is something I do every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.